You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Storm Thomas.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Rotunda, also known as IRS, Erwin Shyster, formerly with WWF.
I am the unsolved mystery JT Energy.
This is Lars Metzger.
This is Almighty Christopher Daniel.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your golden boy, Bryce Jordan.
This is the world's greatest pop icon, Donnie Pepper Cricket, sometimes known as the Dundee Strangler, Brandon Juarez.
Hey everybody, this is Rip Studwell.
Hello everybody, it's Ethan Everhart.
What is up, wrestling world? This is the resident rock star of Impact Pro Wrestling, Adam Love. Woo!
It's the Corn Belt Cowboy, the one called Manders, and you're listening to Shotgun Wrestling Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I'm your host, Zach Takis, and tonight I'm being joined by a very special guest as we head into Central Empire Wrestling's first show of 2024 this week. We have two debuting talent, which is always exciting for Central Empire Wrestling, and they are going up against the tag team of Donnie Pepper Cricket and Iceman for a shot at the CEW tag team titles. And I'm talking about the one and the only, the team of Malik Champion and Eric Eznite. Guys, welcome to the show. It is very awesome to have you on, and man, we got a very exciting time coming up here Saturday in Oskaloosa.
Yep. We're really excited too, man. Thank you for the intro.
Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. So let's get right into it. You know, how'd y'all get started in wrestling? I know you guys are both graduates of the Black and Brave Academy. So what led both you guys to the Black and Brave? Because there's so many wrestling school options, not only in Iowa, but in the Midwest in general. So what led you guys over to Black and Brave?
Yeah, man, it's a fun, long story. So me and Malik, I moved in next to him when I was 5. He was 6.
Yeah.
So we were neighbors and best friends from that point on pretty much our whole lives. So we've known each other almost 20 years at this point. I've always been into the wrestling. Yeah. I think through me as a kid liking the wrestling, Malik ended up really liking the wrestling too, not long after I got into it. And I kind of was like, I had this college plan, I had scholarships, I was going to do graphic design and stuff, and I had done internships and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, this isn't me. And I had gotten out of wrestling for a little bit, like when I was 12, I just grew out of it. I thought, didn't happen. I got back into it when I was like 16, 17, and I was really just kind of thinking about it. I didn't ever say it out loud, but then I had decided a couple months before college started, I was like, this is what I want to do. Wrestling's what I've always wanted to do. This is my dream, and I'm going to go for it. So I was like, Malik, this is my plan. This is what we're going to do. I'm like, are you interested at all? Would you consider being a wrestler too? And he was up for it, and we've ever since that moment, that's what we've been doing, and the goals we've pursued since then have all really started with wrestling as the top priority. As far as where we started in Texas. Actually, we're from Texas originally. I grew up in Texas. Malik grew up in Texas, was born in Texas. Actually, I was born in Davenport, Iowa, where Seth Rollins' school is. So I already kind of had a little bit of a tie to the city. I'd come here for summers, for family and such. So I kind of already knew about the school. And when I got back into wrestling, Seth Rollins was one of my favorite guys. So to me, it lined up. It worked out really well. I have a lot of family here. I was able to stay with my aunt for that summer. He was able to stay with my uncle. It just made sense. It worked out. And it's really working out now at this point. But we started training in Texas in 2018, December 2018, at this smaller promotion before we ended up in the summer of 2020 going to Black and Brave. The summer that the world ended, we ended up going to Black and Brave.
Yeah.
It was a fun experience, to say the least. And so it's 2024 now. So we're about 5 years in total with the wrestling at this point.
Yeah.
So when you guys really finally moved up here to Iowa again, both obviously well aware of Seth Rollins, what was your guys' first meeting with him like? I know he still tries to be as active as he can be in the school, which is really awesome to see a guy that high level that he is at right now, still able to come back here and be active with you guys. That's something I've always appreciated, just being a wrestling fan and somebody from Iowa as well, that he's still active in the school. Like he says, he's not just putting his name on it, he's still active with you guys there as far as your training. So what was your guys' first reaction when you finally met him face to face?
What was do you remember for you?
When we got to the school for the first time and meeting him for the first time, it was pretty cool seeing him because he's like a, regular guy. He was nice to us and everything. He didn't treat us any different, so he's our coach. But he treated us all pretty good. And I liked him as a guy the first time meeting him, so yeah.
Yeah, he's very involved, I would say, for being the world heavyweight champion, traveling the world and such. He still shows up at this point as much as he can, and it's always appreciated when he does. I know by the current class and graduates that happen to be there whenever he stops by. For our class, we were COVID, right? So we were the first class that was fully social distancing or whatever. He, was really just wrestling at the PC, right? So he had a little bit more time for our class, I feel like. He was there for probably maybe like a third to half of the class, to be honest. He was there for a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot from him, and I always learn a lot from him. Anytime he's speaking, I'm all ears, very focused on what he's saying. I send him my matches every once in a while, and he'll critique them, let me know, do this better next time, or dude, really good, keep doing what you're doing. But I regularly go to him for advice, and he's my coach, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah, again, that's just very awesome to hear how active he is still with you guys, especially now that you've graduated to the next level and now you're full on independent wrestlers here. And when you guys were again really thinking about doing this, what were some of the other tag teams that both you guys looked up to? Because obviously you guys have been friends most of your life, and now you're forming this tag team of your own. What were some tag teams that you guys really looked up to?
What do you think?
We really like the Hardy Boys, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hardy Boys for sure. I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan. I mean, I like the Hardys in general, but Jeff Hardy was it was always between Jeff and Ray as my favorite all time. Growing up, they are my two favorites. So Jeff Hardy, Hardy Boys, 100% play a role. And then as far as the actual wrestling and technicality of it, I remember being told pretty early on by Seth Rollins, watch Revival. Or they're not even called that anymore,
FTR,
right?
yep.
FTR, yeah. So as far as psychology and just good tag team wrestling, Kobe was like, watch them. And we do whenever we can, and we're looking for, psychology, technical tag team wrestling. So I would say we take a little bit from them. Hardy Boys, obviously. Right now, we're not really like a babyface team, we're more of a heel tag team that thinks they're baby faces. So we have a little bit of fun with that, but I think it's kind of a unique thing. Yeah, I would say there's not a ton of tag team inspiration I can think of off the top of my head other than those two. Obviously we watched the Rockers, just classic stuff, because wrestling history. It's a little bit different now, but you can still take stuff from back in the day and use it, and it'll still work, and even if you have to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure it will. And again, once you guys finish your training, when you guys finally officially had your first match, I know it was kind of a different time because the world was still coming back out of the pandemic and everything. What was your
Sure.
guys' what was both of your guys' first match like that you had in front of like a full crowd? Because anytime anybody knows, because I know you guys have worked a lot with SCW, and anybody knows they
Right.
usually always have a pretty raucous crowd no matter where they go. They have a definite great fan base. Those shows at Wildwood are
Yeah.
always amazing, and I know from what Clint Dye
Yeah.
always tells me, the bluegrass shows are always incredible as well.
Oh, yeah.
So for you guys, what was your first match experience like for you?
Love Clint Dye, by the way. Great guy. Always great photos too. Um, the first match back, it's funny, dude, because here in Iowa, Illinois, up kind of in these states, it was more enforced. But then you go back, we went back to Texas right after we graduated school. Texas was like, it was all opened up, man. So whether it was the right decision or not, we were able to wrestle, and I really look at that. We were able to wrestle, and I'm really grateful for that. A lot of the people that stayed here and that live here, they just missed out on wrestling because of the regulations. We were able to get out there and go to Texas and really just hit the road right away. I remember Metroplex Wrestling was one of the first matches I had back, a debut in Dallas. And I remember just, after doing the school, right? That was my first real match where I got to apply everything that I learned, all the new psychology, all of, the stuff that just the little details that I learned at Black and Brave that I didn't learn before. All the little tidbits of information that Seth Rollins gave me, Marek Brave, Matt Mayday as well. All three of them played a big role on how I wrestle today and how I portray myself today.
Did you have any type of nerve before you were heading out for your first matchup in front of like an actual real crowd at all?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. I'm still one of those guys. I like it so much, and I've been in love with it since I was a kid. Even if it's not like a ton of people out there, I'm still gonna get even just a little bit nervous before I go out there, just because I'm excited and I love it. I think people are like, "Oh, Eric's nervous," but nah, it's just like a good anxious nervous, like hyping myself up type of thing.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
I was definitely probably still nervous at that point. Yeah.
Same thing for you,
You
Malik,
get
then?
you get more confident in it, and I'm very confident in it, and I'm always excited to go out there. But it's just like, I'm sure you'll talk to a ton of wrestlers. It's just something right before you go, you just kind of get a little giddy.
Yeah. Is that the same thing for you then, Malik, as well?
Yes, same thing for me. So when we got back to my first time wrestling, like without the fans is a big part of wrestling. Like we need them. So it felt good, and it was nerve-wracking to be back out there, but it always felt good to be back out there with everyone else, be back together with the world and everything. So
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I even have a hard time seeing like when people post like footage from the pandemic era and you see the virtual stream. I'm like, I can't. Like, I watched it at the time. I watched at the time just because I'm a wrestling fan and it's what I do. But and the crappy thing here, like you guys said, you were able to go to Texas because they were wide open, and I know Florida was probably wide open too, and other states like that. But like Iowa was running really strong as far as the independents were concerned. Right before COVID happened. So for us to all of a sudden shut down, it was really a bummer for all of us here. And I feel like
cut the momentum a little bit.
Yeah. And I feel like for us here in Iowa, I feel like we're finally back to that pre-pandemic state where you have all these different companies running. I think I posted on the Shotgun page last week. There's a different promotion running every weekend in Iowa this month.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, again, it just shows the amount of diversity that we have here as far as, the talent goes with Iowa and the different promotions that are running. And again, we have Central Empire Wrestling running its first show of the year this coming Saturday in Oskaloosa, Iowa. You guys have a huge, not only your debut match for CEW, but you have a tag team title match going up against Donnie Pepper Cricket and the Iceman, and kind of talk a little bit about that and how you guys got introduced to the CEW, fold and CEW management with Austin Bayless. I mean, he must have been really impressed because I know Austin. He's pretty tough on who he brings in. So I'm excited to see you guys come in. If he's bringing you in, he must have seen something pretty special in you guys.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, man. And we are really excited for this match this weekend. Clint Dye actually was one of our big advocates for getting out here. He comes and does a lot of the SCW shows, and he sees me wrestling everywhere. He sees Malik wrestling everywhere, and he's just a big supporter of ours. And I know he was in Austin's ear for sure. For sure, he played a big role.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like our buddy Clint. That's for sure. I'm actually doing a preview with him later this week. We were supposed to do it yesterday, and he got caught up in family stuff, so we weren't able to do it yesterday. But we'll have one later in this week with him. But again, let's. I want folks to really get to know you guys because that's what I love about doing these. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's wrestling opinions.
Can I answer the second half of your other question?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead.
Yeah. My bad, dude. So CEW actually, when we first, so the timeline is we start wrestling in Texas, December 2018 training. We make our in-ring debut May 2019. We wrestle for about a year, and then COVID happens. And then we go to Black and Brave. We come back to Texas. We wrestle in much more than just that single promotion that we were wrestling at. We wrestle a little bit everywhere throughout Texas for 10 months to a year, and then we move back up here, which is where we live now, roommates, right? So we've been up here since summer of 2021. But when we first moved out here, I remember, like how you're saying, I remember talking to Dante Leone. You know Dante Leone?
Yeah, yep. I'm familiar with him.
When we first came back, he was talking about, why'd you move up here? Texas is fucking popping right now. And you moved up here and not everything's really running yet. We're back to that point now, and I think it shows like the resilience of Iowa indie wrestling, and it's super cool. But I remember when we came back, Dante was like, are they running? Like, he was listing off these promotions to, like, another wrestler beside us. He's like, they running yet? And they're like, nah. They running yet? Nah. But I remember Central Empire was one of the first promotions that he mentioned was back running. And I do remember reaching out to Austin when we first moved here, just a little less experienced. And it's taken us a little bit to get out there. So we are very excited to get out there, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, the Oskaloosa crowd is always great. It's our home away from home, and thankfully he's got a few more shows running this year for CEW in Oskaloosa, which will be a lot of fun. But like I said, getting back to kind of getting to know you guys a little bit better here.
Yes, sir.
So everybody has a different Mount Rushmore professional wrestling, and this is something I love to ask all my guests. For both of you, who's on your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling?
Is it a Mount Rushmore of greatest of all time or Mount Rushmore of influence on my career?
Either or, whichever you guys want to do.
Okay. You want to go first, Malik?
I would have to say I really like The Rock. I like Seth Rollins, of course. He's one of the GOATs.
Yep.
And then I don't know. There's other people, but
come on, champ.
What are your first two? Go ahead.
I know Seth Rollins is on mine. We'll go with the influential on me category, right? Seth Rollins on mine. He's my coach. I watch everything he does. He, don't really have to explain that one too much. So 1 of 4. Funnily, I'm gonna go with something controversial and then go for CM Punk right after I say Seth Rollins, because CM Punk was one of my favorites growing up. Before actually the pipe bomb, it was the Straight Edge Society for me that drew me in as a kid, and I knew he was a bad guy, but I liked him. And if you watch me, you will see that there's a lot of that character in my character right now. CM Punk's Straight Edge Society character, the cult leader type thing. So Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and then obviously everything after that with CM Punk. He's done a lot of legendary things in moments. So we'll say CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, probably the best babyface of all time, in my opinion. Underdog babyface. Always just always liked him. Always just was one of my favorites. He's just so good at he doesn't even have to like have his whole face shown. He's just great at being, I don't know, getting sympathy, getting people to like him. He's just automatically likable. Rey Mysterio. Who else? Last one's gonna be a toss up, probably. Influential in my career, though, probably. Say Randy Orton. I watch a lot of Randy Orton as far as just how he does his matches, the little pauses he does, facials, everything. I watch and study every single thing about Randy Orton. He's just so good. And if you watch how I work in the ring, hopefully you see a little bit of Randy Orton in it, just somehow. So Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio.
All right. And all right, Malik, let's finish off, man.
Finish off mine. So I have the Rock, I have Seth Rollins. I'm gonna have to throw in Shawn Michaels in there, of course. I've always loved his selling, and that's what I love doing. Like selling is a really big part of wrestling, and I love doing that. And I would have to say who else? Yes. I'm not sure. I don't.
Come on, man. You don't like the rest part. Just say so, man.
Well, I don't want to just say anyone. So, but
all right, man.
All right, I'll give you guys mine just so that we can kind of see where I'm coming from. So mine would probably be Brett, Sean, Bryan Danielson, and I probably any given day my fourth can rotate between Stone Cold, The Rock, and any of those types of guys. Growing up, I probably would have had Hogan on because he got me into professional wrestling, but now he's kind of a piece of shit. So he's off my Mount Rushmore list, but. Yeah, I've definitely always gravitated more towards the smaller guys because growing up, I was never very gifted with the height, so I always gravitated towards the smaller wrestlers too. And guys like Brett and Sean and Danielson have just always really stood out to me.
Yeah. I'll give you my GOAT Mount Rushmore too. Let's do The Rock. We'll say Ric Flair. John Cena.
Oh yeah, John Cena, of course.
Stone Cold. That's my GOAT Rushmore. As far as just who's done the most for the business, as far as who's really got more eyes on the business, and as far as who's synonymous with the business, those are the GOATs for me.
And as far as like right now in wrestling, who are some of you guys' favorites? Right now. I mean, obviously, you're all gonna say Seth because he's at another level right now with what he's doing. But like right now, who's some of your guys' favorites that you just enjoy watching? And this can be anywhere. This can be the independent scene, WWE, AEW, anywhere.
Okay.
I know you got a couple. You think of one?
I really
just say it. I know you're gonna say.
I know. Swerve.
Yes, sir.
Swerve.
Yep.
Swerve is really.
I like Swerve too.
I love Swerve. Yeah, gonna go. I love Swerve. Yeah, it's pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
Who else for you?
I was gonna say Swerve too. I think he's killing it right now, and he's just he's got a good. He's good at looking like he's good at making his stuff look really good. He's got his own style with everything. He's very. I don't want to say anyone dropped the ball on him, but he's a lot of untapped potential that we're seeing now. I think.
I was really hoping they were going to pull the trigger on him last night and do the title change. I haven't watched the match yet, but I know the outcome. But I was really hoping they were going to pull the trigger on him last night and put the belt on him.
Yeah, he needs it for sure.
Yeah, for sure he does. So another question I love to ask, because you guys are doing so much traveling. Do you either you have like a post match meal that either of you guys like is your go-to kind of post match meal tradition?
I won't say that I have a straight up like post match meal that I get every single time. We're in different places all the time, so you never know what's gonna be where you're at.
Right.
And you only got so many options, right? Like you get done tearing down and it's midnight or 11 o'clock. What's open? Taco Bell and McDonald's. That's it. You know what I mean? So sometimes you might have to go with one of those. I like to bring my own lunch and pack it sometimes and be responsible and just eat my vegetables, eat my protein bar, protein shake. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't because everyone else gets food at Taco Bell or whatever. So then I'm like, all right, I'll get some Taco Bell. But it just kind of depends where you're at and if I want to spend money. And then I would say probably the most traditional post-match meal, though, you go out to Wildwood, like how Clint was saying.
Yeah.
It's a nice saloon bar. It
Yep.
got great barbecue. So what I like to do, I know you did it a couple of days ago. I didn't get my post-match barbecue, but that's the fun thing to do. Go get some barbecue after you wrestle at Wildwood and get some tater tots.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good tradition. But if you're like later in the show, like main event or whatever, you kind of miss out because you want to eat before. So just depends, man. It's a good question, though.
And when you guys are driving from show to show, from town to town, what are you guys listening to? Music, podcasts? What's on the rotation on the radio?
We always listen to music most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. We should start listening to podcasts more just to change it up a little bit, but it's most of the time the music.
Yeah.
Who's your guys' favorite artist right now?
You go.
Favorite artist right now.
I know we're both into hip hop for sure.
Okay.
I like Juice WRLD and Drake, of course.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I like this guy named Sten Jody. He's a native artist. He's really, really good. Who else do I like? I'm listening to Brent Fayez right now. He's an R&B guy. Those are who I'm listening to the most at this point. Hip hop, R&B is my jam.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite matchup that you've been involved with yet? I know you guys have been doing this for a while. So what's your guys' top? If somebody was going to say, what matchup of yours should I watch? What direction would you put them in?
I would say my match with Devil Dog, Dustin Mosley. He's a wrestler in SCW. I wrestled him in Iowa City at a block party. It was in front of 10,000 people. And that was probably my favorite moments in wrestling so far in my years, of just looking out, getting on the top ropes, seeing a sea of heads. It's just, it felt like our little WrestleMania. Like that's what it felt like. So that was my match, my favorite match.
It's a great answer. I don't know, like I feel like I don't want to give the same exact answer, but that was a great show. 10,000 people at this block party. I was doing the main event with Suge Shane Hollister in like a weapons match. So it was crazy, man. It was wild. 10,000 people, interactive crowd. It did feel like the biggest moment for us at that point.
People were watching from the windows and the buildings and everywhere around. Like it was crazy.
That was fun. That's probably the top. There was another one I had with I could think of maybe like Corn Boy. I went against him the next year at the block party. We were inside instead of outside. We were in the Angler Theater in Iowa City. But that was really cool being in the theater and just having the ring as the center of attention and like all of the noise like directed towards you because of how the amphitheater was like set up. That was really cool too. So Iowa City gets down, man. Iowa City brings the energy. I would say my match against Suge, 10,000 people, Iowa City, or I would say against Corn Boy the next year in Iowa City.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Now, since all the time you guys have been in wrestling, I know you've got a chance to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different legends. What's been the best advice that you think you've received so far in your time in wrestling?
Mm.
The best advice that I've gotten to me is just one of my coaches, Crotch. He told me to just be me. Like, I've been doing great. I really don't have a character right now, but he said that, like, I'm doing very well as me being just me. So he just kept me to just keep going, and I'll eventually get a character down and going for myself. But for now, I'm just doing me.
That's really good. I've gotten so much good advice. I've just had so many um, good mentors, I feel like. You got Marek Brave, Seth Rollins, Matt Mayday. Who else can I pull from? I had a really good conversation with Boogeyman. That was really, really cool. And he like just kind of broke down like the meaning behind everything, his whole character. And to me, that was really cool because I do a lot of that with my character, like really thinking about everything about my character, every detail on my gear. And he did the same thing. He's like, this is what my face paint represents. The red represents whatever. The my hair actually is like a broken arrowhead, and that represents this. Like, it was cool for him to like have taken so much time and detail and put it into his character. That was cool for me because he's made it to WWE and he's world known. So for me to hear from him, like, okay, it does. The little things matter. He didn't even directly say that, but by him breaking down like from head to toe, this is what everything means. I was like, okay, I am doing the right thing by thinking about things in the way that I do. That was really good advice for me. But I've gotten great technical wrestling, psychological wrestling advice from Marek Brave, from Seth Rollins. Every time I see them, really.
Now we got just a few minutes left here in the show, and before I let you guys go, where are you guys booked at next? Obviously, we got Saturday in Oskaloosa. After Saturday, where
Yes,
can
sir.
folks go out and see you guys at so they can keep an eye on you?
Yes, sir. So after Oskaloosa this weekend, we will be in Manitowoc, Wisconsin for Raging Pro Wrestling. We are actually going against each other in a 5-way, or is it 6-way Iron Man scramble match. It's gonna be crazy,
Nice.
but I'm gonna win it.
No, I'm gonna win it.
I got it. But yeah, we'll be Raging Pro Wrestling. That'll be a debut as well. I want to say Iron Spirit is the next weekend after that in Normal, Illinois. And then I think our next SCW show is April 12th or 13th.
I think it's 13 or 12. I think it's 12.
It's whatever that Saturday is.
Yeah.
The 12th or the 13th of April. We'll be back in Wildwood. And then after that, SCW has their big show of the year, Epic, on April 27th. That's what I can think of off the top of my head. Raging Pro Wrestling for sure, right after you guys. 2 debuts back to back. I'm excited.
Yep.
Right on, right. And where can people follow you on the social media so they can keep up with you there too?
So on Facebook, I'm Eric Eznite, EricEznite. X and Instagram, I'm at Eric Eznite, no spaces or anything. And then YouTube, I'm Eric Eznite Pro Wrestling. And I did forget to mention, we will be out in Philadelphia for Mania Week. So
Nice.
working on a couple unconfirmed bookings on that. But regardless, we will be out there, hopefully with some bookings for that week as well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And social tags.
And for my social tags, Instagram, it's Malik Champion 1. And then for my Facebook, it's Malik Champion. And then my YouTube, well, I don't have a YouTube set up yet, so never mind. Just Facebook and Instagram.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me here tonight. And until next time, remember, everybody, our next show is Saturday in Oskaloosa. For more information on tickets, head over to Central Empire Wrestling's Facebook page. And we'll be back here later this week with another preview show with Clint Dye of Tag Team Photography. And until next time, we will see you guys right here on the World Wide Web.